Do you remember the first time you heard that theme song, bold, triumphant, and somehow comforting all at once? The golden lasso twirled, the bracelets sparked, and for a moment, it felt like the world really did have a hero who could stop every bullet. When Wonder Woman premiered in 1975, television changed forever. Amid the disco lights and Cold War fears, a single woman in red, white, and blue became a symbol of courage and joy for millions. But behind the satin tights and invisible jet were stories stranger than fiction, moments of improvisation, danger, and pure magic that shaped the show's legacy. From real explosions to forgotten queens of Paradise Island, the making of Wonder Woman was a whirlwind of invention and resilience. So dust off that tiara, cue the music, and step back into the golden glow of 1970s television, where heroes truly did spin into existence. Fact 12. The spin that rewrote TV magic. Do you remember that moment when Linda Carter would stand tall, close her eyes, and start to spin the air, shimmering around her, before light exploded, and suddenly, Wonder Woman was born? That transformation was pure television enchantment. But here's the truth. It wasn't in the comics at all. In the beginning, no one knew how Diana Prince would become Wonder Woman on screen. The producers tried simple cutaway shots, but they looked clumsy and uninspired. Then Linda Carter, a newcomer with instinct for showmanship, offered a suggestion, a graceful, almost ritualistic spin that felt both human and divine. The first attempts were awkward, no glowing light, no explosion, just Carter turning in slow motion while the set crew scrambled to switch costumes. But when the producers leaned into her idea, added sound effects, light bursts, and motion blur, something extraordinary happened. Television caught a glimpse of myth made real. Viewers were mesmerized, and soon children across America were spinning in their living rooms pretending to become heroes themselves. That spin didn't just change a costume, it changed television language. It gave audiences a transformation. They could feel a visual metaphor for female empowerment in the 1970s. And DC Comics noticed. They eventually adopted the spin into Wonder Woman's official lore, forever connecting the TV show's magic with comic book history. Linda Carter didn't just perform a scene, she rewrote canon. In a decade when women on TV were often secretaries or side characters, she spun into the spotlight and made strength look radiant. The spin remains one of the most recognizable transformations in pop culture history, symbolizing liberation, identity, and elegance all at once. And it all began with an actress's simple idea to turn in place and become something greater. But soon, the magic on screen faced a different kind of challenge, one that had nothing to do with mythology and everything to do with money. Fact 11. When Wonder Woman changed centuries. After one patriotic season of golden lassos and World War II villains, ABC decided that Wonder Woman was too expensive to keep in the 1940s. Recreating period uniforms, planes, and sets was draining budgets faster than the ratings could justify. Despite solid viewership, the network hesitated. And so, with a single corporate decision, the world's most famous Amazon lost her home. But television never stays quiet for long. CBS stepped in, offering a daring new concept move, Diana Prince into the modern 1970s. The show would shift from wartime heroics to sleek espionage, embracing the era's love for gadgets and secret agencies. The result was a dazzling mix of disco-era aesthetics and superhero fantasy. Wonder Woman traded Nazi bunkers for neon-lit labs and high-tech villains. Even Steve Trevor returned in a twist of pure television logic. He was now Steve Trevor Jr., the son of the man Diana had loved decades earlier, played by the very same actor, Lyle Waggoner. Continuity aside, audiences accepted it because the chemistry still worked. CBS also reimagined Diana as part of the IADC, a futuristic intelligence agency, giving her new missions that reflected Cold War anxieties and shifting gender dynamics. behind the scenes, the network's modern setting wasn't just creative, it was economical. By abandoning Wawupawu sets, they slashed costs, allowing more focus on effects, costumes, and storytelling. Yet the tonal change was more than financial. It mirrored the cultural transformation of the 1970s, women entering the workforce, technology redefining daily life, and heroes adapting to modern uncertainty. This leap from the past to the present showed how Wonder Woman evolved alongside the times, always adjusting, always surviving. But with every network change came a new challenge: how to keep the illusion alive when the magic met reality. Fact 10. Bullet-blocking bracelets with real firepower. There was a time when superhero effects relied not on computers but on courage and a handful of sparks. Those iconic silver cuffs on Linda Carter's wrists weren't just props. They were live pyrotechnic devices, rigged with small explosive charges that mimicked gunfire ricochets. Every time Wonder Woman deflected a bullet, Carter triggered the reaction herself through a hidden switch in her palm. It looked effortless on screen, but it was anything but safe. In an era before digital compositing or CGI overlays, each spark came from a precise, real ignition. If the timing was even slightly off, the blast could flash too close for comfort. Yet Carter handled it with poise, a calm performer amid real heat and smoke. According to crew members, she treated the routine like choreography, counting beats in her head, pivoting her body at the exact moment the sparks fired, turning danger into elegance. When the show moved from ABC to CBS, her bracelets received a subtle makeover. The silver tones of wartime Wonder Woman turned to gold, gleaming under modern studio lights, a visual metaphor for the character's transformation from soldier to star. The shift matched the glitz of the disco-era new decade, new sheen, same defiant energy. But there was something deeply symbolic beneath the spectacle. Each deflected bullet became a televised act of resistance. In an age when female heroes were rare, Wonder Woman's bracelets weren't just defensive tools, they were declarations of control, of power, owned and reclaimed. To a generation of girls watching at home, she wasn't just blocking bullets, she was blocking limits. And just as the bracelets sparked light across the screen, the next piece of the show's myth tried to reach even higher into the clouds, literally. Fact 9. The invisible jet that everyone could see. Ah yes, the infamous invisible jet, a miracle of imagination that on television was anything but invisible. In the 1970s, visual effects were crafted with fishing line camera tricks and pure optimism. When Wonder Woman climbed into her aircraft, viewers were supposed to believe in a sleek, transparent marvel soaring through the skies. What they actually saw was something closer to a toy plane on a string. In the early ABC version, the crew worked wonders with lighting and perspective, blurring the plane's edges and adding subtle reflections. It wasn't perfect, but it carried a certain charm. Then came CBS, armed with tighter budgets and a looser sense of realism. The new invisible jet was clearly a plastic model, occasionally with a visible, doll-sized figure seated inside, a moment equal parts adorable and absurd. Even miniature Steve Trevor figures appeared in some shots, as if Ken and Barbie had joined the Justice League. To modern audiences, the effect might seem laughable, but for those who grew up in that golden age of television, it was part of the fun. It asked viewers to suspend disbelief, not because the illusion was flawless, but because they wanted to believe. And somehow Linda Carter made it work. Her serene confidence, her calm gaze as she piloted the see-through craft, sold the illusion better than any computer could have. The invisible jet may have looked like a carnival prize, but it symbolized something larger, the limitless imagination of pre-digital storytelling. Each wobbly flight reflected a time when creativity stretched further than budgets, and wonder mattered more than realism. And so, with sparks flying from her bracelets and a toy plane lifting her through the clouds, Wonder Woman became more than a character, she became television's greatest illusionist. But behind that magic stood the performers, the mothers, and the queens, who shaped her myth from within Paradise Island itself. Fact 8. 3 Queens of Paradise Island. If Diana Prince was the heart of Wonder Woman, her mother, Queen Hippolyta, was its royal soul. And over the show's run, that soul changed faces 3 times. The Queen was portrayed by 3 extraordinary actresses, each one an award-winning icon in her own right. The pilot episode introduced Cloris Leachman, regal and radiant, wearing a crown that seemed to weigh more than any enemy Diana could fight. Leachman's Hippolyta radiated warmth and command, perfectly balancing maternal love with divine authority. She had already won an Academy Award before stepping onto the set, and her gravitas lent the pilot an unexpected prestige. Her delivery of even the simplest line carried mythic power, a goddess addressing mortals through a flickering 1970s TV screen. But when the show moved forward, the crown passed to Carolyn Jones, known to audiences everywhere as Morticia Addams. Suddenly, Paradise Island gained a gothic elegance, a blend of mystery and glamour. Jones brought a sultry edge to the Amazon matriarch, her voice soft yet unyielding. The choice reflected a fascinating truth about 1970s television audiences wanted their heroes to be strong, but also stylish, even in myth. Finally, in Season 2, Beatrice Straight, fresh off her Academy Award for Network, assumed the throne. Her Hippolyta was calm, ethereal, and wise, a queen stripped of ornament, but rich in gravitas. It was a casting decision that felt almost poetic. Each new Hippolyta reflected not just the show's evolution, but America's shifting ideals of womanhood. From Leachman's classic poise to Jones's enigmatic beauty, to Straight's quiet intellect, the role of Diana's mother mirrored the cultural tides of the decade. 3 faces, 3 interpretations, 1 enduring figure. Paradise Island became a stage for generations of powerful women, each leaving their mark on the myth. And as one queen after another lent her crown to the story, another talent off-screen was preparing to show the world that Wonder Woman's voice could do more than command justice, it could sing. Fact 7. The singer behind the superhero. Long before she became television's Amazonian icon, Lynda Carter was a singer with a dream and a microphone. Her first band, The Relatives, toured small venues while she was still in high school, a teenager with rhythm and ambition. Years later, fame would find her wearing armor and boots, but music was her first superpower. In the late 1970s, at the height of Wonder Woman's popularity, Carter released her debut album, Portrait. It showcased not the commanding voice of a warrior, but a soulful performer with warmth and vulnerability. She performed in Vegas, appeared in musical TV specials, and even won an Emmy for her variety show, Lynda Carter's Celebration, in 1981. Between takes of blocking bullets and saving the world, she was recording songs that touched hearts rather than deflected danger. Music gave her a space where she wasn't a superhero, she was simply herself. Later albums like At Last and Crazy Little Things revealed her deep love for jazz and blues, echoing the smoky lounges and emotional landscapes of a different kind of stage. Decades later, she returned to the microphone again, even lending her voice to Fallout 4, performing original songs for the game. Few television stars managed to cross that divide between character and self so gracefully. Carter did it with ease. She embodied Wonder Woman by day and lived as an artist by night, proving that real strength could be tender, melodic, and timeless. Her music career wasn't an escape from her iconic role, it was an expansion of it. And in that way, she became something more than an actress. She became a complete performer, a woman who could save the world one day and serenade it the next. But the road to perfection wasn't always paved with gold. Before Carter's rise, another Wonder Woman tried to take flight and stumbled before takeoff. Fact 6. The forgotten first Wonder Woman. Before Linda Carter's graceful spin redefined television heroism, there was another Wonder Woman won that time, and most fans have quietly forgotten. In 1974, ABC produced a made-for-TV movie starring Kathy Lee Crosby as Diana Prince, but this version was almost unrecognizable. Gone were the tiara, the golden lasso, and even the mystical origins. In their place stood a blonde-haired government agent dressed in a red, white, and blue tracksuit. The film leaned more toward espionage than mythology. Crosby's Wonder Woman was brave, but grounded a secret agent operating in a world of Cold War spies rather than gods. The costume looked more like athletic wear than Amazonian armor, and her adventures felt closer to Charlie's Angels than to Olympus. It was based loosely on the early 1970s comic book arc, where Wonder Woman gave up her powers, an experimental phase that never truly resonated with fans. The response was lukewarm. Critics found it confusing. Viewers found it forgettable. Without her superpowers, Wonder Woman had lost her wonder. ABC, sensing the problem, decided to return to the source. 1 year later, they rebooted the entire concept: new actress, new costume, new magic. Enter Linda Carter, a former beauty queen with no star power yet, but with something more valuable: authenticity. Her version brought the character back to her mythic roots, embracing both strength and grace. With Carter's arrival, Wonder Woman became once again a story of hope, not just heroism, of empowerment, wrapped in red boots and conviction. The 1974 version remains a historical curiosity, a forgotten echo of what could have been. But from its failure came one of the greatest television rebirths of the decade. And just as Wonder Woman found her footing, another Amazon was waiting in the wings, one who would soon make her own mark on Hollywood. Fact 5. Wonder Woman's little sister. Before she was an Oscar-nominated actress and one of Hollywood's most respected talents, Deborah Winger was Wonder Girl, the teenage sister of Diana Prince. Appearing in 3 first-season episodes, Winger's character Drusilla brought a spark of youthful charm and innocence to Paradise Island. With her own lasso tiara and wide-eyed curiosity, she looked like a trainee hero learning what it meant to wear the stars. It was one of Winger's earliest roles, and though it introduced her to millions, she quickly realized that being a sidekick to a superhero could become a trap. Reports from the time suggest that ABC had even considered a Wonder Girl spin-off, a show that would follow Drusilla's adventures beyond the island. But Winger turned it down. She feared being typecast, forever linked to a comic book role at a time when Hollywood still dismissed such characters as novelty. In hindsight, her decision was wise. Within a few years, she would star opposite Richard Gere in An Officer and a Gentleman, and later win acclaim in terms of endearment. Yet her short-lived stint as Wonder Girl remains a fascinating footnote, a glimpse of how Wonder Woman served as a launchpad for female talent in an industry slowly learning to take them seriously. The chemistry between Carter and Winger, though brief, was genuine. 2 women sharing the screen in a genre dominated by men, crafting moments of warmth and humor between flights and fights. To this day, fans recall the gentle, sisterly energy between them as one of the show's most human touches. From a forgotten prototype to a rising star, Wonder Woman had already shown television's full-spectrum failure, reinvention, and the birth of future legends. But behind every great transformation lay risk, danger, and determination, especially for the woman who performed her own stunts. Fact 4. The stunts that defied gravity. Television in the 1970s didn't have green screens or digital doubles. It had courage, choreography, and camera tricks. And few embodied that spirit more than Linda Carter. While the show relied on professional stuntwomen like Jeannie Epper and Kim Renee for high-risk moments, Carter was determined to perform many of her own stunts not for ego, but for authenticity. She wanted Wonder Woman to feel real. Her background in dance and ballet became her secret weapon. Each leap, turn, and punch had rhythm movement, guided by grace rather than brute force. When she jumped across rooftops or twisted mid-air, her gestures carried the elegance of a performer who understood motion like music. But one particular scene stands as her boldest, the helicopter stunt. In Season 2, Wonder Woman grabs the skid of a helicopter as it takes off, soaring over the canyon below. The production initially used a double, but the difference was noticeable. Carter, unwilling to let the illusion break, decided to do the shot herself. Without a harness, without digital safety nets, she gripped the landing gear, and held on while the rotors thundered above her. The studio executives were horrified when they learned, not because it failed, but because it worked too well. The footage was breathtaking, and it became part of the show's opening credits. That moment captured the very essence of 1970s heroism, real people doing unreal things. Carter didn't just act fearless. She was fearless. Her blend of poise and power redefined what a female lead could do on television. In a world still new to seeing women as action stars, she made every flight, every fight, and every deflected bullet a statement of confidence. The stunts became more than spectacle. They became symbols. In every leap and landing, there was a quiet message: strength could be beautiful, and beauty could be strong. And as the cameras rolled, Carter herself was undergoing a transformation nearly as dramatic as her on-screen spin. Fact 3. From unknown to icon in a single spin. Before Wonder Woman, Lynda Carter was an unknown actress with only one television credit, a single episode of a forgotten police drama. She was new, untested, and far from the seasoned stars who auditioned for the role. But when producers saw her screen test, everything changed. There was something undeniable in her presence, calm, radiant, and commanding. She was Wonder Woman before the costume even touched her shoulders. Douglas S. Kramer, one of the executive producers, later said she didn't just play the part, she embodied it. She had a rare kind of charisma, soft-spoken, but magnetic, carrying an aura of quiet authority that made the unbelievable feel natural. When she spun on camera for the first time, the crew reportedly broke into applause. Overnight, Lynda Carter became the face of a generation's imagination. Her portrayal resonated because it blended strength with empathy, something few superheroes had managed before. She smiled at villains before defeating them, helped strangers with patience rather than arrogance, and carried herself like a guardian, not a conqueror. That tone of warmth amidst power redefined the superhero archetype on television. Her rise was meteoric, but it wasn't fleeting. Even after the series ended, Carter's influence endured. Every future actress to wear the tiara, from animated versions to Gal Gadot's modern portrayal, has owed something to that original performance. She wasn't just the first television Wonder Woman. She was the one who set the emotional blueprint. By the end of the 1970s, Carter had transcended her role. She had become a symbol of possibility, proof that sometimes all it takes to change an era is one perfect spin and the courage to hold your ground. As the series approached its later years, the world around it was changing again, networks shifting, stories evolving, and a quiet attempt to reboot the legend one more time. Fact 2. The reboot that never took off. By its third season, Wonder Woman was trying to find its place in a rapidly changing television world. Ratings had slipped, budgets had tightened, and CBS wanted something fresh. The network's idea was bold, or perhaps desperate: transform the series into a new hybrid of superhero adventure and high-tech science fiction. Thus came The Man Who Could Not Die, an episode that quietly doubled as a test pilot for a full reboot. In this reimagined version, Diana Prince had relocated to Los Angeles and worked under a new agency, Chief Dale Hawthorne, played by John Duran. But the biggest addition was a new character, Brett Cassidy, portrayed by Olympic gold medalist Bob Seagren. Brett wasn't your typical partner. He was genetically enhanced, bulletproof, and nearly indestructible. The intent was clear: CBS wanted to set up a super duo, a lighter, faster show that might appeal to younger audiences and reignite the franchise. But the attempt fell flat. Critics and viewers found the tone disjointed, unsure whether it was trying to be superhero drama or Saturday morning cartoon. Even Carter herself seemed distant from the energy that had once defined her. The series aired its final few episodes out of order, and the reboot concept quietly disappeared. There was no finale, no grand farewell, just silence. For fans who had followed Diana's journey from Paradise Island to modern America, the ending felt abrupt, unfinished. Yet that quiet fade-out gave the show something rare, an unintentional, mythic quality. It vanished like its heroine's jet, leaving behind a shimmer rather than a crash. Over time, nostalgia softened the memory of its uneven end, and Wonder Woman became not a show that failed to continue, but one that concluded on its own terms, as if she simply flew off into the horizon, her story left to legend. And decades later, that legend would come spinning back into the light. Fact 1. Lynda Carter's triumphant return. When the lights dimmed in theaters for Wonder Woman 1984, few expected to see her again. But then in the film's closing moments, a mysterious woman in a flowing blue cloak rescued a child from falling debris. She turned and for a heartbeat time itself paused. It was Lynda Carter, not as Diana Prince, but as Asteria, the ancient Amazon warrior referenced earlier in the movie. The cameo lasted only seconds, but it carried the weight of generations. It wasn't just a nod to nostalgia, it was a coronation. Carter, who had once carried the mantle of Wonder Woman through television's rough and tumble years, now stood as the eternal guardian of its legacy. Her return bridged eras, connecting 1970s innocence to modern cinematic grandeur. For longtime fans, it was emotional. The girl who had once spun in golden light was now the legend watching over new heroes. Carter's appearance symbolized continuity, resilience, and gratitude. A silent reminder that icons never truly fade. They evolve. In interviews afterward, she spoke of how deeply the role still resonated with her. "She lives in me," she said. And indeed, for millions of viewers, she always will. Her brief return wasn't a farewell. It was a gentle reminder of where it all began, with a spin, a smile, and a belief that goodness could still save the world. Through decades of change, from grainy TV screens to digital epics, Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman remains one of pop culture's purest embodiments of hope. She showed that power could be kind, beauty could be brave, and television, even with toy planes and sparks, could create something eternal. And as her legacy continued to inspire, one truth became clear: you can end a show, but you can't end a symbol. Nearly half a century has passed since Wonder Woman first took flight across American television screens. Yet the glow of that golden lasso still lingers in memory. The show was more than a product of its time. It was a mirror of it, reflecting the optimism, uncertainty, and change of the 1970s. It brought mythology into the modern world, wrapped in humor, heroism, and a little camp magic. From its wobbly, invisible jet to its explosive bracelets, from 3 regal queens to one unforgettable star, each of these 12 facts tells the story of a production that dared to dream beyond its limits. It was imperfect, sometimes clumsy, often miraculous, but always full of heart. Behind the sparkle of satin tights and the thunder of theme music, Wonder Woman stood as a symbol of transformation. It showed a generation that power could be graceful and that hope, when spun fast enough, could light up the sky. The series may have ended, but its spirit never faded. New generations continue to rediscover it. Proof that a hero born on Paradise Island still has something to teach us about courage, compassion, and believing in impossible things. Of the 12 facts, above which one surprised you the most? Was it the real sparks behind those bracelets, the invisible jet that everyone could see, or perhaps the moment Lynda Carter turned one spin into history? Thank you for watching, and for keeping television's golden age alive one memory at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the shows that shaped our lives. See you in the next video. This is TV Time Capsule.